Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pinpoint Unfiltered. I'm Rachel.
And it's your boy Josh, the realtor of realtors. What's going on, guys?
Josh, I'm a little jealous. You have like two catchphrases, the
Yeah,
realtor of realtors
or put
and
me in the
catch
streets.
catch me on the streets. And I've got nothing.
I'm sorry. This is what I do. I come up with nicknames. I come up with little catchphrases. It's a talent. It's a non-paying talent that I have. Um, you got to see me on the pool table. I've like come up with like pool table names. Like, what's your like pool table persona? Uh, yeah, it's fun.
I'm the person that gets better when the drunker they get when they're playing
Oh,
pool.
I thought you were gonna say like the older you get, fine like wine. See, another one. Boom.
Well, that already exists, but yeah. Um
But
I don't know. I don't know what I am.
anyways,
I don't know.
anyways, this is not a
I'm just
catchphrase.
Rachel. I'm just your dedicated broker, always here for a good time. How about that?
That's a good one. We'll work on it. We'll polish it up. Don't worry.
All right.
I'll mull it over and
Well, we have all weekend to figure that
we'll
out.
get you a cool catchphrase. By the end of the weekend, we'll get you a catchphrase. I got you.
Sweet. All right. So, what are we talking about today, Josh?
So today, this is like another one of your. This is going to be one of your episodes, I guess.
Mine.
Where
They're ours. All of
they're
these are
ours,
our
but like
episodes.
you're the designated expert on this stuff. We are talking about tips for first time homeowners or first time buyers. It doesn't have to be a home. It could be an apartment. It could be a condo. It could be a co-op. Whatever it is, your home. The first time you go to purchase it, what are some of the do's and don'ts of this process? And because Rachel is the killer, the top agent at Pinpoint when it comes to your sales and purchases, she's gonna really like give everybody like the do's and some of the don'ts, and I'm just gonna like be here for comic relief pretty much.
Gosh, you're
um
making me blush over here.
so yeah, we let's dive into this, and like some of the first time home like buyers, like what are some of the likes, what do you like, what you don't like? Give us the lowdown, right? The lowdown is the
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing, right, is people are thinking about buying for the first time, and what is the first thing that they do? They go online.
street easy, Zillow,
Realtor or
realtor,
homes or
whatever.
whatever, all those million different sites. Um, and what those sites are mostly is they're really lead generation sites for agents. They're not really meant for the consumer. They're not really meant for buyers, or sellers or renters. They're really just to get those people on the site so that they can um, profile certain agents that pay those sites um, to be listed on those different um, listings, for lack of better words, because I can't speak right now. Um, it's like when you go to like Zillow, right? And you're looking at a listing and it says like, "Hey, reach out to an agent." You have to be very careful with like the wording there because it says reach out to an agent. It's not saying reach out to the listing agent, right? Because that there are plenty of people that pay money to Zillow, Realtor, blah 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 blah. Throw me out there on any listing that makes sense, and they will give a referral fee, so like a 35% of their commission to one of these websites for connecting them with a buyer,
That's a lot.
or a renter.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
it's a huge amount. Yeah. Especially since, I mean, not to get into the nitty gritty, but like the realtor doesn't get the whole commission, right? They split it with their brokerage. Yeah.
Government,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Uber guy.
yeah. So, when you're looking online, those listings are usually like taken from the MLS, for like the listing agent put those up in their MLS. They had the pictures taken, they wrote the description, or now these days AI wrote the description. Um, and it's all marketing, right? it's the job of a real estate agent is to market a property. So they're supposed to put the best looking pictures. They're supposed to put the best description. So my number one tip,
I've never seen a listing description. Low ceiling, no light, dangerous neighborhood.
but you know how they say that? Like if it's like in disrepair, it's like investor special, right? Or um fixer upper, make it your dream home.
Comes with a Glock. No.
Great school district. Oh shit. But a great school district would be like, you can't there's not much to advertise about the place, but you could say the neighborhood's good, maybe. But anyways, the point is like don't fall in love with something that you see online, right? Um and don't just reach out to any agent from those sites. When you're looking, you should really figure out, what it is that you're looking for, and then when you're pretty committed, when you're ready to buy in the next 3 to 6 months, reach out to an agent or reach out to several agents and interview them.
Yeah, vet them a bit. Think of it this way, I guess. Like now that you just kind of said it that way, it's just like kind of popped in my head where, an athlete, right? They hire an agent to navigate business contracts, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
They don't just pick anyone. They vet a few people, they get references. Um, it's kind of the same. I tell all clients at a certain point, I'm like, listen, the best advice I could give you is if you're going to use an agent, use someone that you communicate well with, that you vibe well with, because that person is going to work best with you. This process of whether it be like, buying or even just renting, it shouldn't be as stressful as it can be sometimes. And usually what I've hear from people, the stresses are they're not communicating well, or they feel that their agent isn't like listening to them. Um, so yes, take Rachel's advice, vet some people, uh, do that research, so then you don't have to do as much research when it comes to your purchase sell process.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be just somebody that you vibe with, that you should absolutely vibe with them, but, you know, you should find out, like, what their negotiation style is, because you don't want an agent like, one of the biggest things, especially for a buyer's agent, the biggest thing that you need is a negotiator that's working for you on your behalf, right? Um, you don't want an agent that's just gonna let the listing agent, take the lead in the negotiation and kind of then you're gonna get stuck paying top dollar for something that you could probably get a better deal on. Or not knowing when in the transaction you can negotiate because there are multiple points throughout the transaction that you can negotiate. So definitely interview multiple agents and ask for references and then actually call them. That's the best way to get a feel for an agent. But
So
things
basically, no any mini miny mo.
Yeah, and not the person that your family uses just because your family uses them, or your family member just because they're your family member. Totally interview those people as well, but don't just pick them because you have no other options. Because that's usually when things get messy.
And that's
And this is a one of the largest, if not the largest purchase you will ever make in your lifetime, and you need somebody that you can trust and you can communicate with openly. Um,
that's what
that's
I
really,
mean by
really important.
vibing. I don't mean like, hey, just be able to have a drink with them. The vibing is
I like that too.
that's
My I
nice,
I'm usually able to drink with all my clients.
but it's more about the communication. That's what I mean when I say vibing. It's like you have to be able to communicate. If you communicate well with a person, that person could do their job a lot better than if you don't have that type of relationship.
Mhm.
Um, the I I guess it's a reason why I do this. I'm good with people. I can find that common, frequency and
Mhm.
get points across and be able to listen. Not everyone can. So yeah, I think that is the most important when choosing a person. Like, yes, you want references and you want a track record, but you know what? At some point, we were a new brokerage and we had none of that. And people we gave us a shot. I would never not want to give a person a shot. Um, but they have to be some type of competent, and they have to like I said, the main thing I think is the communication, because as long as what we do in Pinpoint, as long as we're transparent and we could communicate with our clients, we could probably get through most things.
For sure.
That's
For sure.
my point in that. What else?
So
Where are we going next?
yeah, so I think you know, you start out by looking online and then you're like, "Oh, I want to go, see something." So you probably reach out to an agent. So we've covered that part. Um the other part is when you're looking online, you're going to see open houses, and when you're not ready to commit to an agent yet and you're not really sure that you're ready to start this process, but you're interested, you're going to go to open houses. Um have at it. Go to as many open houses as you can, because the more that you see, even on your own, the more you start to realize what you want and what you don't want. And that's what you really need to start figuring out. So when you do meet with an agent, you actually have a game plan of what you're looking for, what is a must have, and what's a nice to have, and what's an absolute deal breaker. Um,
Yeah. Now,
and these are things that are important. But remember, just 1 second, Josh. So remember though that you're buying it. So there are some things that might be nice to haves that aren't there, or there are deal breakers that are there that you could take out, right? Because you would own it. You can change those things. So keep those things in mind. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
no, you were talking about must-haves, right? So New
Hmm.
York, obviously, we're a different breed than
Hmm.
mostly every other city here in America, where yes, we do have people buying, let's say, one, two family homes, right? They have those. But the majority of purchases in New York would be, apartments. And apartments, they usually fall into the categories of what, co-op and condo. And we check out one of our earlier episodes where we talk about the benefits of co-ops and condos and the differences. But now, like you said, you want to see some open houses, you're trying to narrow it down. What makes you choose, or what's the why does it matter for a purchaser to understand the difference between a co-op and a condo? What's the point? And because we're in New York, it's like an issue that you're gonna have to come across, because like I said, the majority of the purchases are of apartments.
Hmm.
So yeah, so why does it matter, Rach? Why is it important? Um
Finances is the biggest thing.
okay. Yeah, there we go.
The biggest thing is a co-op is cheaper than a condo. In more ways than one. Co-ops have been losing value, compared to condos lately, in the past few years. So condos are appreciating much faster than co-ops. Not that co-ops don't appreciate; they just don't appreciate as fast as condos. Um, and part of that is the reason is because most co-ops are older, right? They're not really building new co-ops anymore. Um, and the co-op board is a lot more restrictive than a condo board. There's a lot less that you're able to do on your own, and you definitely need to get approval for certain things like renovations, or sometimes even just putting a washer dryer in your unit. You need to get approval, or even a dishwasher.
Well, this is
Um,
a PSA for my co-op board. I love you.
but but some of the good things about it for a first time home buyer is that the maintenance fees, like your monthly maintenance fees is what they call them, but in a condo fees, they are in a co-op, they include your property taxes. So maintenance fees are usually a lot less in co-ops than in condos, again because they're older. They have more reserves probably. um, there's less amenities that they need to be paying for. Um, and so the maintenance fees are usually lower and they include the taxes. And in co-ops, I mean, in condos, the monthly fee is usually pretty high. And then you still have to pay property taxes on top of that, which is expensive. So, for a first time home buyer in New York City, if you're looking for an apartment, a co op is definitely more financially attainable. So the other thing you need to pay attention to when you're starting to look is, you know, your timeline, right? Because if you're trying to buy a co-op, the co-op process can be pretty lengthy.
So
I've had
hold
Go
on one
ahead.
second. The timeline. So why is it so lengthy compared to, let's say, a condo? So
A board
first off, we
approval.
have, like, just so I could, like, clarify for everybody, because
Mhm.
sometimes we move quickly. Um, there's a financial aspect of the co-op condo, right? And now we're also talking about a timing,
Mhm.
like a timeline aspect. Now, why would it, like, they're still fucking apartments in my eyes, or in, like, any person's eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it's an apartment. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Come on.
So because the co-op board has a lot more oversight. When you and because a co-op is basically a company. You're buying shares of a cooperative. You're not buying the actual property. You're not buying real property. So you're buying into a co-op. You're buying into a company, and that company gets to vet who they sell their shares to. So even though a buyer might have a signed contract with the seller for a co-op unit, that doesn't mean that that deal gets to go through. The buyer has to submit an application to the co-op board, and the co-op board reviews it. If they approve the application, then they ask them in for an interview. They call a bunch of references. Um, they do background checks, and then they can grant approval. But if they don't, that contract that you had to buy that unit goes away. Right? It doesn't matter. With a condo, the condo board doesn't really have that much oversight. You have to submit an application, sure, but it's pretty much just because they get first right of refusal, the condo. Um, and usually it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Um,
Yeah, they just
and
want to move the process along a little bit more. Like, hurry
mhm.
up, let's get these
so
people out, let's
so
get
because you
money.
have the co-op board application process and approval process, you have once you have executed contract between both parties, then you have X amount of days to submit the board package, which includes all of your finances, every single asset that you have, every single liability, all
Every
the backup
latte,
documentation for it, everything, everything. Um, and if you leave anything out,
every Shake Shack burger.
the board is going to ask questions and it's going to take longer for you to get to the next step. So, trying
Okay.
to also having an agent that knows how to put a board package together is really, really important.
So for me, like, what I take from all this stuff, people, you do need to vet your agent, because this is a lot of things to understand, a lot of nuances that you have to, like, navigate. Um, so you want to have the proper support team,
Hmm.
and Rachel, without boring everyone, is, like, telling everyone this is fucking important. It is absolutely important. This is, like she said earlier, this is one of the biggest purchases you're gonna make. So you best believe you need to have a good team around you.
Hmm. I'm gonna piggyback on you because you're talking about having a good team. So one of the next things I wanted to talk about was um, the team that you need. It's not just an agent, right? Like in New York, you also need an attorney, a real estate attorney. And if you're getting a loan, you're gonna get a mortgage, you need a loan officer or a mortgage broker. And it's okay if you don't have all those things. Like you're a first time buyer, you're probably not gonna know anybody, and you might, but you probably won't. So one of the things that you ask those agents when you're meeting them is who do they work with? Who's in their team, right? Like I have um, loan officers that I work with, mortgage brokers that I work with. I have attorneys that I've worked with that I have a really good relationship with. So um, if you come to me, right, and say, "Hey, I'm looking to buy," one of my first questions is going to be like, "Okay, are you financing? Or are you paying cash? And if you're financing, okay, do you have a pre-approval?" Um, If you don't, I'll connect you. I'll send you a few different brokers or loan officers that I work with.
Okay, so on that note of like monies and financing,
Mhm.
right? How much like what does the average purchaser need? Like what do you need to like put down? Like what's
Yeah. So that's the other thing is, like, a lot of people wanna do, like a FHA, like, first time home buyers loan where you only have to put, like, 3.5% down, 3.5. It depends on the program, but, um, you can't do that if you're buying a co-op. Most co-ops require 20% down and only allow 80% financing. Some allow up to 90% financing, which is very little, to put down. Some are less. Some are like you can only finance 60%, right? It depends, and each co-op is different. Again, having the right team up front is going to help you when you're starting to look at these different places. Because if you know that you can't put more than 20% down, right? And you really want to see a co-op unit, but your broker knows, hey, that co-op is not going to allow you to finance that much, right? Like you're going to have to put a lot more down. You're going to have like X amount in liquidity, which means, a lot of co-ops want to see that you have 2 years of post-closing liquidity. That means you have cash or assets that can be quickly turned into cash, um, to cover 2 years of your maintenance fees and mortgage, all that stuff.
the
Just which is a lot of
two
cash to
years
have.
of liquidity right here? One baseball card at a time. We get rid of these.
There you go.
No,
And the
people
Delta trading cards, the Delta trading
and my
cards.
Delta trading cards. Um, I will be ready to purchase
Oh, you can get some this
another
weekend.
unit very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, so with financing it's difficult. I'm not a loan officer. I don't deal with mortgages day in and day out. I think this could be another episode where we invite some people on to talk about this stuff. But yeah, basically you know, in sum, you definitely need the right person on your team that can help you navigate what it is that you are going to qualify for based on what you have and what you can do. Um, so yeah, usual, like I would say New York City down payment is going to be, 10 to 20% usually. Um, if you're paying cash, then it's it's cash. Then it's just what you want to put in earnest money deposit. Um, so what else? What else? We've talked about looking online. We've talked about co-ops,
What
condos.
you need. All right. So the emotional shit that they
Wait,
don't like to
one
tell
more thing
you.
that we should talk
Oh,
about with
rewind.
money. Because with the NAR settlement, right? Um, basically said that sellers are not required to pay for the buyer's broker anymore. Um, so what that means, and technically Remy in the Real Estate Board of New York is not a member of NAR, but they signed on to the settlement.
So basically, if you're buying, make sure you have 3% for me.
Not necessarily. Like basically what's going to happen is when you sign an exclusive representation agreement with the broker, it's going to stipulate how much they're charging for their services, right? And it can but what we do in New York is you still like the good listing agents are still going to get their sellers to pay the buyer broker commission. It's just separated. So it's not like 6% and then you split it. It's now, you know, okay, I'm paying my listing agent 3% and I'm going to pay a buyer's broker 2% or 3%. Um, but it also allows a buyer's
Make sure you
broker.
have my 3% just in case.
Right. So if that listing agent basically says like, okay, not the listing agent, if that seller says I'm paying the buyer's broker 2%, but I have an agreement with my buyer that I'm owed 3%, like I'm worth 3%, that's how much I'm charging. My buyer would technically be responsible for that other 1%. So what would happen, what's allowed in New York is I'm allowed to negotiate directly with the seller and say, "Hey, I can get you this deal, but I need you to pay my full amount because my if not my buyer's going to have to pay that 1%, which means I'm going to have to reduce we're going to have to reduce the offer to your property because, they're not made of money, right? There's only
So
so
for the
much they can do.
people, I go back to make sure you have my 3% on hand just in case. And for you agents out there, there's another opportunity to negotiate with another person. Awesome. Polish those negotiation skills, kids.
Well, that's
Um,
my favorite thing to do. I will negotiate all day
yeah,
long.
I, on the other hand, could care less. Spell my name right on my checks, have my money when I need it, please. And thank you. So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that's more money. Obviously, good thing to know. You need to be prepared for that. And again, agents, be transparent. Let these people know this like in the beginning so there's no confusion at the end because you don't want a deal to fall through over 1, 2%. That sucks because you've put in a lot of work. Also for like the people, the buyers, yeah, you don't want a deal to fall through. You've at that point you probably got a little bit emotionally attached to whatever property you want to purchase.
I
So
mean, I've
yeah,
almost had a deal fall through over $100.
yeah, it's not
I
fun.
mean, we've salvaged it, but
You
$100
know,
was about to be like, "Nope, we're walking away."
I've seen these things happen. Um, Makes you want to break some stuff.
Mhm.
Don't break things, people. That's not healthy. See a therapist, talk about it. Or
Yeah.
call Rachel, she'll listen. Don't call Rachel.
Rachel will listen with a glass of scotch.
So
So emotional shit.
what's the emotional shit that like people
Well,
don't talk about?
you're gonna fall in love and you might lose, right? I've had some first time or repeat buyers, right? Fall in love with properties and not be able to get them. To no fault of their own, right? Like they're limited at how much they can afford. Um, and that's the thing. It's like this is a financial transaction. Yes, it's your home. Yes, you need to love it. You need to feel happy in it. You need to feel comfortable in it. You need to see yourself living in it for,
30 years?
10, 20, 30 years. Yeah. Um, but don't let emotion cloud your judgment. And also, again, lean on your agent because that's what they're there for. We take the emotion out of it. So we're helping you figure out the logic. But at the end of the day, you're the one that makes the decisions. Um, so try not to fall in love with every single property that you see. And if you do fall in love and you're not able to get it, um, just try to calm yourself by saying like there is gonna be something else out there for you.
Of course. Of course
Um,
there will be something else. There are plenty of fish in the sea, I guess.
yeah.
Timing is everything. Like, tell all clients this. Like sometimes it's a matter of not getting on the right train and you just miss out. It just happens.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's gonna lead to self-doubt, right? Um, but don't doubt yourself. Like just trust in yourself, trust in your broker that you have a plan and you're doing the right thing. Um, don't spend sleepless nights thinking about, "Oh, I need to lock in this interest rate," or, "Oh, I don't know if this property is worth what we're about to spend on it because the comps don't come in," you know, right? It's have those conversations with your broker at a normal hour, not 2 in the morning, please. Um,
well, you can call me
and
whenever, people. I don't care because I don't really sleep too much. I'll probably just be playing pool someplace like a degenerate. Um,
listen,
Listen, this is an international city, and Pinpoint is open for
chill.
business 24/7, folks.
I need
Don't
to
listen to
sleep,
this crazy
otherwise I'm gonna be
lady.
cranky.
Don't listen
I'm
to
gonna
this
be
crazy
cranky if I don't
lady.
sleep.
I will not leave you on red, and I do not put my do not disturb on. This is probably the reason why people are telling me like take a fucking vacation. But for the time being, Pinpoint open for business, baby. Call me.
Yeah. Alright. So anyways, emotions, try not to spiral out of control and, listen to your broker when they tell you to walk away.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Have Don't be desperate. Don't be thirsty, as the kids. Well, as I used to say as a
Yeah, if you're
kid.
desperate, then the listing agent is gonna smell it and you're dead in the water.
Yep, that is one of the biggest things. Don't reek of desperation. Will Rachel will find you a place. Trust me.
Mhm.
Trust
I
me.
will.
Okay. So, what's the checklist? What should they know before they start? Like, I think we went through kind of this,
Yeah, but we can go
but we
over
could
it.
recap it really quickly.
So, are you financing or buying cash?
All right, money
Okay, if you are buying cash, make sure that you have proof of funds. So you have bank statements that show that you have that money and that that's not all you have, that you still are going to have money after that.
and proof of funds is not a Polaroid picture of stacks of money.
No, it is a
Just so you guys
PDF
know.
bank statement. Um, mhm. If you're financing, are you pre-approved? You can get pre-qualified easily. That's not really anything anymore. You don't have to submit any documentation to prove if you can afford. So pre-approval is that next step where you actually do have to provide like, bank statements, your pay stubs, stuff like that, so they can verify your income. And that will also tell you how much you're pre-approved for. So that gives you like your budget. Um, Next thing on the checklist, are you buying by yourself or with a partner or with a family member? All of those things are important because then you'll need their information for when you're ready to buy. Um, are you emotionally prepared for a bidding war and still be able to walk away? So, I have I have a I have a tidbit about this. I had a client that was looking to buy his first apartment, and he was buying cash. And we found this place he really, really liked. We had seen a lot of different places, and the listing agent, it was a team. It wasn't just one, it was a few. And this is how I know that they don't know how to negotiate and they shouldn't be in business.
Well, I almost say shouldn't be a business. That's a little much, but okay.
This is your business. You should know how to negotiate.
Sure.
I'm not going to
Practice. Be
that
better.
is
There's a
that is a hill.
process.
That's a hill I will die on, okay?
There's a process. You weren't born like
Um
this. You didn't start off great. You have to work at it. It's
well, I
okay.
knew how to negotiate. I knew how to do sales before I got into the sales business. Anyways, um the listing agents basically said they were collecting all offers and expecting the highest and best offer by Friday at 5 p.m. And then they would give them all to the seller and the seller would pick one. So I explained this to my buyer. Hey, this is it. They're just going to pick the top one and that's it. And he was like, okay, but then they'll counter. And I was like, I can't guarantee that. I think that they should, but I can't guarantee that they will because it's the highest and best situation, which means they don't want to negotiate because they don't know how to negotiate,
Or they
right?
just don't want to. Like
This is
me,
a
it's not that I don't know how to negotiate. It's just I don't want to.
That is actually a great way of highlighting the different types of agents that are out there and who's going to vibe with you best.
Communication skills.
Hmm.
Got to be able to communicate with these people. You have to. And
You
it's
have
like,
to be able to communicate. You have to be able to say, okay, I want,
oh wow.
I'm a tough negotiator. I want a tough negotiator, or I don't know how to negotiate. I need somebody to negotiate on my behalf, or be like, let's just feel out the situation and see how it goes. So
Yeah,
there's
it's
you
that
you need to
dad.
make sure that you find the agent that is aligned with how you want to do business because at the end of the day this is a business deal.
Yeah.
Um
And I
so
feel like you also need to find it's helpful to find people who are able to switch it up. Because like I said, not every not every method works for every person and every deal. So you kind of have to find a person who can assess the situation and know how to attack it. And usually with good brokerages, you have different members on a team that can do it. Like, hey, this person's good like with these people with this type of deal. Not every person, like if you told me right now I had to negotiate a commercial like deal, I would have no experience in it. I probably wouldn't be the best person to like do that. So yeah, it's not just, let's say, the one single broker or the single agent, it's the team. And I think we hit that, like you have to have a good team around you for these processes.
Yep. So remember that, if you're looking to buy for the first time, you can do it. You're not alone, and you just got to build the right team around you. Um, we've helped a lot of first time buyers navigate this.
This is when some music on the background will come in, but like you are not alone, like softly in the background, but we don't have the rights to that, so we can't afford that, people. But yes, you are not alone.
You're not alone. We help a lot of people with this. Um, and we help people navigate the bullshit, sees my French.
BS.
And we know the ins and outs. So hit us up. And if you have
Please.
questions, you don't know, like, you don't know if you have the right agent. You don't know if you have the right team around you, or you're not sure what you're looking for. Hit us up. There's no obligation. You can just hit us up for advice. That's free.
Yeah, even at 4 in the morning, because some
Not me.
some people will be sleeping, but some people will be up waiting for your
You
call.
can call Josh. You can find his phone number online.
It's not that's true, unfair, but true.
It's on our website, people.
But you're gonna be so happy when I call you and I tell you how many people called me at 4 in the morning so you can find out about real
I
estate.
hope people
You're
call you at
like,
4 in the
"Listen,
morning, but not tonight. I hope they
gonna
do not call you tonight.
you're gonna regret when you're like, 'Damn it, I should have said my phone number's on the internet. Call me at 4 in the morning.'" If you're looking for a good time, call Josh at stop. Don't get too excited, people. Um, so recap, call
Another
us.
recap?
Yeah,
Oh,
call us
at 4 in the morning.
at 4 in the morning. Um, have a good team, and that's about it. Have a good team is the biggest lesson of this episode. Have a good
And don't
team.
fall in love with the first property that you see online.
Not chill. There's a lot of fish in the sea for you people. All right. So Rach, how can the people find us?
Our website, pinpoint.nyc, Instagram at Pinpoint Group, LinkedIn, Pinpoint Group. You can find me on LinkedIn.
And as you guys know,
I don't know what else.
you could catch me in the streets because we're outside making these deals, even at 4 in the morning. It does not matter. The realtor of realtors is always available to make this shit go down. All right, guys, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Rach, love your girl.
Love you. Peace.
We will talk soon.